Hey guys and gals, I know I'm only on the left side, but hold on, I'm going to show you how to get your microphone on both sides. So hang with me just for 1 second. This is the new version of cueJack Control that you can download from the internet. And working in conjunction with Ubuntu's new Ubuntu Studio controls, which is a really handy app for setting up any audio interface. I'm going to show you what you do in cueJack Control to get your microphone on both sides so you don't have to do it later on in software or your video editing software. So go grab the newest version. I'm going to give you the website in just a second. And once you open the graph, make a line to the right side, and now you are on both sides. And that way it works great for you. And you have good audio. Now this is something new. This is Ubuntu 19.10, Ubuntu Studio 19.10, and it's just been released today. And as you can see, it's running XFCE. I've added my own themes because the default themes I'm not too keen on. And I've added not only themes, but a better version of Jack or cueJack Control. Now, the reason I did that is because the older version is version 5.0. as you can see here, and it still uses the Connect setup, and that was just a terrible implementation. It worked, but it's not the greatest way to go about doing things. Okay, so to get the newest version, you can head over to SoundForge at soundforge.net/projects/cueJackCTL/files and just grab the app image. Also, remember to right-click on the app image and allow this file to run as a program. Some might say executable, depending on what distro you're on. Now, the cool thing about Ubuntu Studio is that not only do we have the newer kernel 5.3, okay, but we also have a newer version of Ubuntu Studio controls, which is this. It is a great app that makes everything just work. So the annoying part about using Jack or Pulse Audio is if you're doing anything with Jack, you can't really use Pulse Audio. Well, with this one single app, you can. So what it does is it takes and makes Pulse Audio run into the Jack master, and it just works flawlessly. So you can be, working on, say, a screen recording while having Firefox play in the background, and it's not going to interfere. Firefox isn't going to stop playing your YouTube video or anything of that nature. Pulse Audio will run through Jack, and it's really easy to set up. You just pick your audio interface. Now, I will say this. I did have a bug, but this distro just came out today. So I hooked up my Midas M18 to this little laptop, and it wouldn't detect it. It would detect it on 19.04, and it would detect it on long-term release Ubuntu and all the other Linux distros I've used, and no problems have I had. And I thought, oh no, I'm not going to be able to make a video today. And I swear I gave up on it because it just wouldn't work. And then all of a sudden I thought, oh yeah, I do have an audio interface. I've got an old Zoom R16 that I used to record band practices with off of our old mixer. And I said, isn't it an audio interface, to myself, So I go dig it out of the closet, plug it up. Now, it never worked with Linux before, ever. And I plugged it up, and it worked perfectly. So, hey, someone was kind enough to put the driver in the kernel. So that's awesome. But this is Ubuntu Studio controls. You can go on the Ubuntu Studio website and read about it. It's probably one of the biggest moves forward that audio on Linux has had in the past 10 years. This little app right here. Now, if the Ubuntu Studio team would work with the Pipewire team and get this kind of integrated into Pipewire, Linux could really rival Mac OS as a real audio platform. But for now, this is the best option, and it's only available on Ubuntu derivatives. You can use it on any Ubuntu derivative. Just to install it, all you have to do is is go over to the Ubuntu Studio. Well, just to install it, if you're on any Ubuntu distro or like Linux Mint or one of those, all you have to do is open the terminal, type sudo apt install Ubuntu Studio -controls. That's it. But if you want the newest version, you'll have to go over and add the back ports. So it's easy to set up. There's a really nice article over on the Ubuntu Studio website that explains how to use this, and it just makes Linux usable for audio. That's been my complaint for the longest time, that Linux really wasn't usable because trying to set up Jack and it was just such a pain. You didn't want to do it. I'll just be honest with you. But this works really well. Now, this is not the machine that I tested Ubuntu 19.10, the beta, on. This is a lower powered machine, and it is not as powerful as the other one. It is still a newer CPU, though. This is a Kaby Lake CPU, so it is an i5 7200U, which is a dual core with hyperthreading. It has 8 gigs of RAM. I installed Ubuntu Studio on a M.2 SATA SSD, and it has another 1 terabyte spinning rush drive inside of it for storage or whatever. It has no dedicated graphics other than the built-in Intel HD Graphics 620, and this thing runs really well. It has an old crappy 3168 Intel wireless card, and but it does really well in here. Now we can look at something like HTOP and see that. Now I'm doing a screen recording. I have cueJack control open. I also have Ubuntu Studio controls open, and I had the CPU governor set to performance mode. I've also had a few apps open and other things like that, and it's only using 1.4 gigs out of basically 8, and in top it seems to give about the same, saying 999 ish, so they're pretty close. Let's also check one more thing. We'll go with GoTop. If I remember to install, I did. So GoTop is here, and it's showing that this system is running really well. Now XFCE runs really well on this machine anyway, and it's probably one of my favorite distros to run if I need more power from the machine, but it's not my favorite to run as far as a desktop environment. I personally like Plasma a lot, and Plasma is getting better and better. I've used GNOME for a few years. I've used Budgie, and I just keep going back to KDE Plasma because it gives me a lot of options. Now, what all comes with Ubuntu Studio? Well, a bunch of stuff. So we'll start with audio production. You have audio utilities such as Carla Control and cueJack Control, a bunch of effects, guitar amps. You have the CAF Studio plugin pack, Guitarix, Rack-a-Rack. It comes with instruments such as synths, drum kits, organs, all kinds of really cool little stuff. MIDI utilities. It also comes with mixer and card control, so you can control your audio interfaces and things of that nature. The great Ubuntu Studio Controls app. If nothing else, you want to try audio on Linux, just go over to Ubuntu Studio's website or Google the Ubuntu Studio Controls and read about them, and make sure you get it hooked up correctly. It may take a couple times to get it set up right, but once you do, it's awesome. So in the audio portion, it comes with Ardor 5, Audacity, Bracero, I guess it's a CD burning thing, I've never used it, DG Edit, Hydrogen, the drum machine, the Internet DJ console, the Kid 3 QT, I'm not sure what that is. That looks like it's got a tag and a music. I bet it's a way to put metadata into like WAV files and MP3s or something. LMMS, which is a good alternative to FL Studio, MuseScore, Pure Data, cueJack Control, QTractor, which is another MIDI DAW, Ray Session, Super Looper, and the Zine Add Sub Effects synthesizer. In the graphic designs department, we've got graphic utilities such as the 3D LUT Maker, Curve Viewer, everything you would need to work with pictures. You also have photography apps such as Darktable, Entangled, the Rapid Photo Downloader. You have things like Blender, a document viewer, an ebook reader, font viewer, GIMP. You also have GPick, which is a color picker, I think, Inkscape, Krita, the LRF viewer, Scribus, and Synfig Studio, I guess is how you say that. Synfig. I think that's for publishing, if you wanted to publish like a newspaper or magazine or something. In the video production part, you have Blender. You have the NV24 control, which is for a certain type of audio interface. I can't think of it right off the top of my head right at the moment. You have Kdenlive, OBS Studio. OBS Studio is version... I don't want to set that up. Let's see. OBS is... Well, that doesn't help. I'd say it's the newest version. But you also have OpenShot, PitTV. I'm not sure how you say that. PitTV, maybe. PitTV. It's a really good iMovie style video editor. It's not Kdenlive by any stretch of the imagination, but it's really good if you just want to edit a simple video. Slow-Mo UI, which I've never used. Voco Screen, which is a great screen recorder. XJDO and XFburn. Now, you have your basics calculator, your light DM greeter, mouse pad, notes, the on-screen keyboard known as onboard, and your basic utilities like Screenshot, your task manager. There's LibreOffice included. LibreOffice is included. You have games. You have Firefox is included. I'm an Opera user, so I had to install Opera. There is Thunderbird Mail and Transmission. For media playback, you've got the Jack Mixer, the Pro Media Player, VLC, and XJDO. For Office, you've got Calibre, the Dictionary Document Viewer, ebook editor, LibreOffice, which includes, LibreCalc, Math, Writer, and all the rest of that good stuff. The Orange Calendar, Orange Global Time, PDF Arranger. In the Settings Manager, you do get more themes with Ubuntu Studio built in than you do with, say, Xubuntu, which is the XFCE distribution of Ubuntu, and it works really well. Now, when you open them up, they kind of look the same, but you do have more options in the appearance section and window manager. So I basically installed just Layan and the Marwadas here and 2 Mac looking themes. Everything else comes built in standard to Ubuntu Studio. So you've got a few dark themes like Adwaita or Blackbird, and then there's the Materia themes, which they're all okay. They're just not my thing, I installed the Mojave and the Catalina Dark. I like this Marwada Dark, OS 10 Dark, just because of the way the buttons are. If you look at the button, it's actually a little more 3D than, say, the Materia Dark theme, which is a real flat theme. And for me, a person with macular degeneration, it's easier for me to see these buttons. That's the only reason I use it. The icon set I'm using, if you were wondering, is not the stock icon set. This is Nuada. I like it. It's kind of got an anime kind of look to them. They look old school, but have more of a modern, really contrasty and sharp look to them. So I like those a lot. Pretty much that's all that's really changed as far as I can tell. I know there's a lot more included plugins. I'm not going to open our door in this session, but you can go read on Ubuntu Studio's website about all the new things they've included in this release. And I can't say enough good things about Ubuntu Studio. They're actually getting things done and done correctly for audio on Linux. And it's just great what I'm seeing happen here in the Ubuntu Studio world. So if you were looking to maybe take an older laptop, like a dual-core i5 or i3 laptop, and maybe just try out Linux with audio because you're not really going to run anything else on it, try Ubuntu Studio. If you've got a really nice desktop and you want to try audio on Linux, try Ubuntu Studio. It's going to be the most stable of the majority of distros that deal with audio, and just about everything you'll need is included. And if it's not, it's in the software repository. The one complaint I have with Ubuntu Studio is after all this time, no one has packaged up non-DAW, non-timeline, and non-session manager, basically the old non-DAW package, and put it into Ubuntu Studio. It's amazing, and it works so well. I'm not a coder. I don't know how to do those types of things, but I would love to see somebody just package that up for Ubuntu. You can get it to run on Arch, or you can even get it to run on KDE Neon. Okay, which is weird because its packages are based on Ubuntu long-term release, but they're nowhere to be found in any of the Ubuntu derivatives in any of the repositories. So my mind is blown. I don't know why. No one has just put non-DAW into Ubuntu Studio. It would be such a great addition to Ubuntu Studio. But this has been Ubuntu Studio 19.10. Go grab a copy today. Try it out. I promise, if you want to explore Linux and audio on Linux, Ubuntu Studio is the way to go. So grab it today, and we'll see you next time, y'all.